College football fans, something is happening in Athens that should make every Georgia rival uneasy, because the next playmaker in this offense may have been hiding in plain sight the entire time. While the headlines keep circling around quarterback development, spring battles, and the usual SEC noise, a different story is gaining momentum behind the scenes. According to Dog Post, one Georgia Bulldogs wide receiver has been opening eyes during spring practice, and the name creating that buzz is Sacovie White-Helton. This is where the story gets dangerous for the rest of the country. Georgia is not simply trying to replace production. Georgia is trying to uncover another weapon inside a machine that keeps reloading. And when Kirby Smart starts publicly praising a player in April, that is never random. It usually means something real is coming. The pressure on this receiver room is massive. According to Dog Nation, Georgia is replacing 4 of its top 5 wide receivers from last season, and that includes Zachariah Branch, who led the Bulldogs with a school record 81 catches and a team-high 6 touchdown receptions in 2025. ESPN's Team Stats page also lists Branch as Georgia's receiving leader with 811 yards, which shows just how much proven volume just walked out of the room. According to 24/7 Sports, London Humphreys returned as the most experienced target, but Georgia also needed younger players to absorb snaps, targets, and explosive play responsibility immediately. That is the real context here. This is not just about a nice spring compliment. This is about a roster with a legitimate opening for someone to seize one of the most important jobs in the offense. And this is exactly why Sacovie White-Helton matters so much right now. According to the official Georgia roster, he played in all 14 games in 2025, finished with 8 receptions for 70 yards, and added 5 punt returns for 57 yards. Those are not superstar numbers, but that is not the point. The point is that he was already being trusted in multiple phases of the game. He was on the field, he was contributing, and he was learning inside a championship-caliber environment without being handed the spotlight too early. At Georgia, that matters. Kirby Smart does not casually promote players into meaningful roles. If you are being used on offense and special teams, it usually means the staff sees more than the stat sheet reveals. And now, with a major opening in the receiver room, that quiet apprenticeship suddenly looks like preparation. The backstory makes this even more compelling. According to Georgia's official bio, White-Helton came to Athens as a 4-star prospect with real production and real athletic juice. At Cass High School, he posted 91 catches for 1,409 yards and 15 touchdowns as a senior, after putting up 54 catches for 716 yards and 7 scores as a junior. He also returned both a punt and a kickoff for touchdowns, ran an 11.06 in the 100 meters, and cleared 6'4" in the high jump. That is not ordinary depth chart filler. That is an explosive multi-sport athlete with documented playmaking ability. According to 24/7 Sports, he opened his junior track season with an 11.01 in the 100, which reinforces the same point. The speed is real. Georgia did not discover this talent overnight. Georgia recruited it, stored it, developed it, and now it may finally be ready to cash in. What makes this feel bigger than a routine spring storyline is the way Kirby Smart talks about him. On the official Georgia site, Smart described White-Helton this way: competitor, tough, hard-nosed, works, and just loves the game. He also said White-Helton is a joy to be around and that he's excited to see what he can do. But Dog Nation added an even more revealing layer. Smart said White-Helton had gone to him several times asking how he could be more valuable on special teams, wanting to be more of an asset beyond just returning the ball. Smart also emphasized that White-Helton is inquisitive, intelligent, and always asking questions. That matters because spring hype is one thing, but spring trust from Kirby Smart is something else entirely. Georgia does not build stars only with speed, it builds them with reliability, toughness, and mental buy-in, and White-Helton is checking those boxes publicly. Then came the player's own words, and they sound like someone who knows his moment has arrived. According to Dog Nation, White-Helton said, "I'm very explosive. I can attack the ball as if I was 6'5". I can make people miss." He also made clear that he's not trying to become Zachariah Branch 2.0, because, in his words, they are different players who play completely differently. That is exactly what Georgia fans should want to hear, not imitation, evolution. White-Helton is selling a different style: vertical stress, ball attack, movement in space, and a fresh tempo for the offense. Dog Nation also reported that he believes his skill set can help stretch the field in ways Georgia did not always ask Branch to do. So this is not merely a backup trying to keep the offense afloat. This is a player who believes he can change the geometry of the field. And the broader media is starting to notice. CBS Sports, in its look at spring position battles that could shape the 2026 college football playoff race, specifically pointed to Sacovie White-Helton as a name to know, saying his track speed and increased knowledge of the offense could help him earn starter snaps. 24/7 Sports separately reported that Georgia wants to be more explosive in 2026, and Kirby Smart himself said after a spring scrimmage that the Bulldogs want more explosive plays in the pass game. Put those pieces together and the picture becomes clear. Georgia is not just searching for catches, Georgia is searching for detonation. It wants chunk plays, field-flipping plays, stress-inducing plays, and White-Helton is beginning to look like one of the players who can supply them. That is why this story should matter to every SEC defense on Georgia's schedule. There is also something larger here about the scale of the program that is producing this breakout. According to the University of Georgia Athletic Association, the 2026 athletic budget was approved at approximately $223 million, up nearly 16% from the 2025 budget of $192.7 million. This is not a normal college football operation. This is an elite resource engine. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution previously reported Georgia was spending roughly $200 million on facilities, while Dog Nation reported last year that a $56 million football complex expansion had been approved, with construction beginning in January 2026. So when we talk about a secret weapon, we are really talking about a player being sharpened inside one of the most powerful infrastructures in the sport. White-Helton is not emerging from chaos. He is emerging from one of the most heavily funded and systematically built football environments in America. And that is why this story is so unsettling for Georgia's rivals, because the Bulldogs are not advertising desperation. They are revealing succession. Last year's production walked out the door, but the program did not panic. It kept developing, kept stacking athletes, and now spring practice is exposing the next possibility. According to Dog Post, White-Helton is a speedy, sure-handed receiver who can also make plays on special teams and is entering his third year in the program, looking to make a big impact this fall. According to Dog Nation, he admitted that last season got hard at times, but he stayed patient, leaned on faith, and believed his success might take a little longer than someone else's. That patience may now be turning into payoff, and at Georgia, delayed payoff can be terrifying because it usually means a player has been forged before he has been featured. So here is the real revelation. Sacovie White-Helton may be the next hidden accelerator in the Georgia offense, not because he came out of nowhere, but because Georgia kept building him while everybody else looked somewhere else. The stats from last season only tell a small part of the story. The recruiting profile showed the athletic tools. The special teams role showed the trust. Kirby Smart's comments showed the respect. The spring buzz showed the momentum, and the roster turnover created the opportunity. That combination is exactly how breakout seasons begin in Athens. If White-Helton turns this spring momentum into fall production, then the rest of college football is going to realize too late that Georgia did not lose a weapon. It unveiled another one. So now I want to hear from you. Is Sacovie White-Helton really the next breakout star for the Bulldogs, or are people getting carried away with spring practice buzz? Drop your take in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and stay locked in for more Georgia analysis, because in Athens, the biggest stories are usually the ones that start as whispers.